Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. We'll be looking at two things today. The first, you might have heard about it. Well, it's not the first, but one of the two things we'll be looking at is the whole matter of $1.5 billion that the Federal Executive Council has approved to fix the Port Harcourt refinery. It's one of the 4 refineries, $1.5 billion. That's nice. So we'll look at it, find out. By the way, anybody have an estimate of what it costs to get a new one, a new refinery? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it on our topic lineup. But let's start off in the state of Osun. They're making news because, quite frankly, they reversed themselves recently. That is to say, they reversed the Osun state policy on local government administration. You could call it, a parliamentary system, but it's been reviewed now, and in place is a law now that makes it more presidential. But that's just the backdrop. Of course, it will affect different areas. So we happen to have with us Honorable Jamiu Olaomi, who is the special advisor on Osun's governor's, Governor Yetola on education. Special advisor to Governor Oyetola of the state of Osun on education. Great. Thank you very much, Jami, for coming on. Great to have you. Thank you very much, sir.
Good to be with you.
All right, then. Yeah. So, you've reviewed the education policy as well, yes, which is not quite the same as what the umbrella that I spoke about. Yep. You've reviewed the education policy in Osun. Now, there were controversial areas. Things like separate schools for boys and girls, that kind of a thing. Is maybe special schools for one religious and another religious group. Now, all those things, they didn't exist like that before. Tell me about the reviews. It seems to be quite a comprehensive one.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, viewers, and good to be here. Yes, let us start this way. Policy. Okay. Policy documents everywhere has a purpose and focus. And generally, you have to time it. I remember in those days when we had rolling plan, development strategy of year 2010, 2025, as we had during the military. So is the policy of education during the Papawolo era. There was a policy. And afterwards, policies continue to come. So at a point in time, we had a policy in Osun in the last 10 years. And it has been our party, the All Progressive Congress, in place, whether you're moving from APC or ACN or AC, the same party. So we reviewed, and we have to do one or two injections, refixing one or two things. In actual fact, it was not the government deciding to review those policies. It was clamored for. It was an issue during the electioneering. I remember at the debate organized by TVC in Osogbo, when my governor, Mr. Yetola, said, whichever policy the government, the people of Osun State will not like to continue, that we have had in the first 8 years, that he will not hesitate to look at it. Okay. And the former governor, Gbenaregbesol, also said in one popular video that has gone viral, that whichever things he could have done and people would have wanted him to do different way, that they would take sort to the party would tell Oyetola, the governor, to look at it. As God will have it, when we won the election in 2018, November, then December, there was thank you visit. The governor, when Oyetola moved around this, it was a town hall meeting, sort of, in the 9 federal constituencies that we had in Osun. And most prominent of the requests of the people at the town hall meetings was policy on education. Issues about those policy, about the policy, is one single uniform for students in Osun State. Whether you are in Ikiri or you are in Owen or Jesha, it's the same uniform. Then school reclassification. We were running primary 1 to 4 as elementary school. 5 and 6 classes were moved to junior secondary. They spoke against it. We also had single-sex schools becoming unisex.
Okay, or comprehensive.
Or comprehensive. And the effect of it is not shown on the certificates being issued by WAEC. We didn't follow through. Akib Abdul Kabir attended Baptist Girls High School. There's a presumption of fraud on that certificate.
And Abib is a known masculine name.
Yes, the two is masculine. Now say he attended Baptist Girls High School.
And that's simply because the whole process wasn't followed through.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was the report from the town meeting. There was also school renaming schools. For instance, Ilesha Grammar School was founded in the 30s. You now put on the signboard at the front of that school, Ilesha Government High School, established in 1937.
I see.
All this led to a lot of issues. For instance, the Old Student Association abandoned those schools that they were not their schools. I remember the late governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, attended Ilesha Grammar School. He personally wrote to government that they were not comfortable with the name change. All this removed the stakeholders' involvement in participatory governance of schools. And if you...
And government can't do it on its own
anyway.
Cannot do it.
No government does it alone. This was there. There was also the issue of security breaches in school, occasioned by the single uniform. And a group of students could come from Ife to Osogbo to come and disrupt inter-house sports. They wear the same uniform. You won't know who is who. Even teachers could not say, you student need and I will tell you, you are not my teacher. I'm not from your school, sir. So it was a security issue. Even the Department of State were writing almost every week on breaches in our schools. It promoted cultism and brigandage and hooliganism. All these were issues. So it emanated, the request to review those policies emanated from the town hall meetings. Then there was this international organization, the DFID, on their needs assessment across the 30 local governments and the area office. It was most prominent thing in their report that your government has to review the policy on education. So what the government did, we present an executive memo to State Executive Council on all these issues that concerned education and what we had met there. And the State Council decided to set up a committee of technocrats, eminent people in Osun State and from outside Osun to help us review those policies. The committee was chairmaned by Emeritus Professor Oluwaina. He has the members include Lieutenant General Ani Akenyade, who represented Osun Development Association. There was late Professor Ibija Pobe. There was Professor, former VC of Tesla University, Obilade, Professor Mrs. Obilade. He was once upon a time Commissioner in Osun State for Education. There was Dr. Uyi Wadai of WAEC. There was also Professor Adeyeye at University of AU and other eminent groups. ANCOPS, OSPON, the Headmasters Association, and other professionals who are there. I was also there. My commissioner for education was also there. The report of the review of that committee was what we are implementing. Today, as we speak in Osun.
It's interesting and it's very helpful that you give us this, background and trajectory of how we got to where we are now. But it's a fact, isn't it, that A lot of the people working in this administration also worked in the last Aregbesola administration.
Of course. The governor was the chief of staff to the government, governor.
Exactly. Yeah. So when these policies were going down that are now being reviewed, it's just a curiosity to me. Were there apprehensions at that time, or it took Aregbesola to leave before people now say, well, actually, you know, we went down with it anyway. What's going on there? Yes,
you know, in executive system of government, there's principle of collective responsibility. I would say our party was only lucky that we had the opportunity to review ourselves.
Okay.
It's not that people are not taking responsibility as part of that government. But if government is for security and welfare of the people, education is topmost in welfare of the people. And people you are serving request for a change. If Aregbesola were to be the governor for the third term, he will review. Because that was the general request of the people.
Because as you said that he himself had said, should there be a public, you know, opinion about this, consider it very, very carefully.
Yes. Yes. So if he were to be there, and people said they did not want again, he would have reviewed like the way we have done.
Very, very interesting. Now, the review, as you've explained, it covers things like wearing hijabs, and as you know,
there was a time.
Yes.
Hijab issue was a case filed in the court by the Muslim community against the government. The Muslim community went on to press for fundamental human rights. And they won that their children should be allowed to dress modestly as defined by the Federal Ministry of Education on where should be covered as a uniform. It's a case the Federal Ministry of Education has settled in 1990. There was a case like that at Obafemi University during the Professor Osun Togun era. And Federal Ministry of Education defined what a student who is a girl should look like in school. So they went to press for that in the court and they won. We appealed and we also lost. So and nobody pressed for that. So the issue of hijab is not a government policy. It's a different issue taken up by the Muslim community. So the Osun State government has not been tinkering with issue of religion.
I understand it. A caller has come in. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and greetings to the special advisor.
Thank you.
Uncle Yori, I would like to ask the special advisor two questions. The first one is about the tablet of Opoimo.
Okay.
I know about it. I've seen it to be a very good product. I want to ask him whether the state is still using it.
Okay.
And what is the position of Opoimo as at today.
Okay.
The second question is about what is the status about salary payments in Osun State?
Okay.
Okay.
Is the government still owing workers any element of arrears?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. I see you're smiling.
Yes.
Because we were actually talking about some of these things before coming on air.
Opoimo was part of the review.
Okay.
Yes, it was part of the review.
Maybe take Opoimo first, because Opoimo is a tablet.
Yes.
You know, along the lines of maybe a Samsung or an iPad. Instead of calling it a tablet.
Our Christianization of
that's it.
The tablet.
It became Opoimo.
Yes.
Okay. What's the status of that? Because we don't seem to have heard very much about it. And it had laudable, you know, objectives at the time.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to commend
Mr. George.
Mr. George, and also commend the former governor for a sense of purpose.
Okay, Governor.
Yes, Governor Aregbesola. Yes. Opoimo was a pathway to digital literacy. Whether it requires reform or not, he has he has laid a path for us in digital education development.
Okay, that's the view. That's the viewpoint.
That's the viewpoint.
That's the official viewpoint.
Yes, that's the official viewpoint.
I know you.
The
I know you
content of appointment.
I know you want to develop that, and you. I'll let you. But
Okay.
somebody
It's also on the
has also called in.
Okay.
Mr. Femi in Surulere. Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, Uncle.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to you.
Yes.
Have you heard that? Have you heard the news that armed robbers are again? They are going to repair Port Harcourt with $1.something billion.
He's talking the
I would like you to give us space on that platform to give Nigerians space to talk give their view on that issue. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Femi from Surulere. But I do believe Femi brought up some other story in the news.
Yes.
Did I hear Port Harcourt? And I don't know. I'm sorry, Femi, I couldn't make you up, but that is not the subject we're dealing with now. So you'll understand we don't want to distract ourselves. But thank you for bringing it up.
Yes. Thank you. The appointment thing. The appointment. Let me describe what
is it still viable?
Is
in Osun?
We have rested it to reprogram it for our needs.
Okay.
Initially, appointment was to go around students in senior secondary school. The government was able to deliver 35,000, which is a far cry from the figure, because senior secondary school 1, 2, 3 in Osun will give you about 167,000 students. So what we have at 35,000 is even less than 30%.
Okay,
so it couldn't go around even at then.
Opoimo is a tablet, as you've
but
just said.
But what was on the tablet was converting textbook into it. But digital literacy has transcended just having textbook on a tablet. You want to do a lot, do a virtual laboratory. It will not allow for it. So there's a need for the government now to withdraw and reconfigure. Then there was a missing link then. The teachers who are to teach students with the tablets were not trained on how to use it.
Okay.
So if at all you are going to use it, the teacher must first have it as a tool for digital digital empowerment for students now to come after and start to use tablets.
So again, it seems to me like a good idea, but wasn't completely worked out.
Yes, exactly.
Very much as you had said in relation to to the other
digital empowerment.
Yes, that's this. You even said the same thing in relation to what aspect of education were we looking at then? The WAEC one, where a boy could be categorized in a girls' school simply because it wasn't followed through.
Yes, yes.
So I think the operative line there is that we've rested it for the moment.
For the moment.
While we fix it.
For the moment, while we fix it.
And by the way, it's a tablet. What? Is it an Android tablet?
It's Android.
It was an Android tablet.
Yes.
I see. I imagine that you're speaking about, it looks like we're going to have to wait a fair bit if we're going to be wanting to use those things as virtual laboratories as well.
Yes,
that will require data,
the thing is,
not to mention...
Osun is coming up with a digital education policy.
Okay.
And the policy will...
Can we afford it, really?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
What it requires, what is the phase is going to pass through. Digital literacy, you're taking on your teachers who are going to teach. You give them tablet and whatever instrument they need to understand, to go digital line. Then you now come back, you look at the curriculum too, and you now fix students into it.
And you have to also think about the physical laboratories themselves, which I imagine will become like virtual sets.
Yes.
So the expenses all over the place. It's in this technical, this technological caper.
I can tell you that in the second quarter, there's a phone? In the second quarter, that will start from April, we're going to begin process to create smart schools.
Smart schools?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Smart schools.
Smart schools.
Broadly?
Yes.
What's that?
Smart school is about digital literacy. Okay. Complete digital digitalized schools.
Let me not keep Yemi in Abeokuta waiting.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Yemi in Abeokuta.
Yes.
What's up? Go on, please.
Okay. I only want your guest there, the special advisor on education to the governor of Osun State.
Yes.
When asking question on salary issue, I want him to add that of gratuity.
Okay.
The payment of gratuity in Osun State.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suspect that Yemi in Abeokuta just might be...
No, he's following us.
Yes.
The question earlier is on Okweman's salary.
Yes.
So he's following us. So,
so in effect, well, thank you very much, Yemi. Yemi is saying, we've heard enough. Since you've rested appointment, we've heard enough.
So
can you people go to the money?
Okay.
Go to the money. Okay.
Yes, I like to say that God has been very, very kind with us. Kind to us in Osun, because the governor, apart from lowering the temperature of governance in Osun, is also hands-on on his knowledge about finance. Ever since we assumed office, he took over power, the general belief was 2 months before he won the election, the government started to pay full salary, which the workers, an average worker, will see as a gimmick for election.
Okay. That is 2 months before he went and fought the election, and indeed subsequently won.
Yes.
But just before then, 2 months before,
there was...
full salaries were now paid.
Yes.
And this is coming from what percentage before?
It was coming at, it was a pro rata form. Percentage, if you are in a particular, levels 1 to 7, full salary. Initially, it was half for everybody. Later, it was from levels 1 to 7, you take full salary. 8 to 12, 75%. Above, half, 50%. But before the election, 2 months, the government started to pay full salary. To an average worker, a discerning worker would say it was because of election. But ever since Oyetola came into power, he has not touched it. We have always paid full salary. It may interest you that 4 months ago, we started paying the minimum wage of 30,000 naira.
And in addition to this, from what you're just saying, everybody in Osun is now getting 100% of his salary.
100% minimum wage.
And then the minimum wage is a separate one. You're saying that we have started to pay it.
For 18 months, we have paid full salaries. And we have started to pay the national minimum wage to all our workers in Osun.
Now, while you're still on it, I remember the matter about...
he was talking about arrears.
No.
He was talking about pension too. Gratuity.
Gratuities.
I want to say, and I want to be challenged. Anybody watching us now who could controvert it. Oyetola government had paid over 5 billion naira as pension and gratuities. Over 5 billion naira.
Over what period?
In the last 8 months. It is an average of 7.5 million naira every month.
I see. Well,
gratuities.
I hear what you're saying.
There's contributory pension. Government has been paying the counterpart to pension managers. You know, that's why it's about certificate. When you finish, when you retire, you process, you submit certificate to government. Your contribution is already with the pension managers, and the government complementing and with its contribution. That's where
you're up to date on that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adebisi in Maryland, Maryland, USA. That is for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for your guest. I'm calling from Maryland, USA. This is my question. What does Osun State have in line to train their teachers
So, I mean, to upgrade their teachers for the new system in education that the whole world is kind of using now. That's my first question.
Well, again, I want you to help us out a bit. The line was a bit wonky. Could you say that again, please? Your first question again is something about upgrading. Okay. I didn't hear it properly. Go on.
Can you hear me? Okay. My question is, what do Osun State have in line? I mean, what they have on ground for their teachers to upgrade them?
For teachers,
okay. Upgrading teachers.
Thank you very much.
Talking about training, etc.
Yes, thank you.
Now.
Okay, that's the first question. Quickly with the second.
Okay. The next question is concerning the teacher salary. Teacher salary. What is going to happen for the previous salary that the previous government is owing the workers generally, the teachers?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's take a stab at those 2 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's talking about teachers' empowerment.
Yes, and development.
In our second quarter program for this year, it's part of our teachers' digital empowerment that will capture training of teachers we have now. We're also in the process of recruiting 2,500 teachers this year. Those teachers will not just go straight into the class. They will be trained for purpose before they are introduced to.
What's the ratio of teachers to students in the state of Osun, or where is it that you want to be?
Yes, we are looking at an education system that will make our students creative enough. So we'll not be going the way of just employing teachers. We are going to be science and technology biased in our recruitment, because that is when we can collectively stop the current situation of unemployment in Nigeria.
Okay, I'm going to have to be satisfied with that in the interest of time.
Okay.
So I want you to move on quickly to other aspects of the question.
The other aspect of the question is payment of arrears that we have owed teachers.
Yes.
As we speak now, what we are owing teachers and other workers in the state, not teachers alone, is over 30 months of those deductions, of those pro rata deductions we had passed through. But there's no point in paying half of the past and paying half of the present. It means you are still paying half salary. The labor union sees our papers, and the government will not hesitate to start to pick from the past to join the full salary we are paying now, as soon as we are able to get out of certain conditions.
Okay.
As we speak today, Osun State is owing a lot of money.
Okay. That much you are admitting?
Yes. And even at that, we cannot go to borrow.
So how much longer, that gentleman wanted to know, are the teachers going to have to wait? Since you are admitting that
not teachers alone, all the workers.
In fact, all the workers.
All the workers. We are trying our best. A government that has shown commitment and responsibility in payment of full salary for over 18 months and paying the national minimum wage again has shown enough body language that the arrears we are going to pay.
Okay.
And it's not going to be too far from now.
I guess we don't have all the time we'd like, but I want to thank you very much, because you've touched on some of those things that people who are not from the state of Osun but are also keenly interested in it.
Yes.
You know, they now have a better grasp of it. Yeah. All of this is supposed to be improving the quality of education in Osun. And as you said, you guys are going to be science inclined as you develop education.
And technology.
Science and technology inclined. Indeed, thank you very much, Honorable Jamiu Olaumi, Special Advisor to Osun's Governor Oyetola on education.
Thank you very much
for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back, and we'll come back and, you know, discuss among ourselves this whole matter about $1.5 billion to repair, you know, the Port Harcourt refinery that has just been approved by the Federal Executive Council. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. Now, the federal government is focusing on the Port Harcourt refinery, and we've just been told by the Minister of State there that $1.5 billion, not naira, $1.5 billion has indeed been approved to be expended on the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery, it being one of the 4 refineries. Okay, I've been joined by our friend. He's our go-to guy, Mukhtar Mohammed. He's one of our go-to guys when we need our financial analysis. Good morning, Mukhtar.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Always my pleasure, Okuyori.
Indeed. Now, the first question I want to ask you, against the background of my intro, was that $1.5 billion has been approved, you know, for refurbishing, upgrading, and doing whatever needs to be done there. Now, how much are they selling brand new refinery?
Well, we know from what Dangote is telling us, he has not come out directly to tell us how much he has spent to build a refinery.
Okay.
But one thing that we know is that it's not taking Dangote 4 years to build a brand new refinery. And it's going to take us 4 years to turn around an old, obsolete refinery.
Well, if you're calling it obsolete, maybe all of this is part of making it not obsolete anymore.
Now, look at what the minister said. He said the people that build the refinery say they don't manage refineries. They have to give them a partner, a different engineering firm, that they are the ones that manage refineries. Now, if you go to meet Aliko Dangote or you meet any of you, they will tell you that the people that are building their refinery is built and managed.
Okay.
So we have gone beyond where you have a particular team, people that will build a refinery, then a particular people that will repair a refinery.
Okay.
So that is a challenge.
Okay, you know, we have a package on this matter. So let's take this package, let's see that, and we'll come back, continue our conversation. And of course, it's going to be very important to be joined by you guys out there at home. The package now.
The upward fluctuation in the price of petroleum products in recent weeks had increased clamors for the rehabilitation of the country's refineries. And now the federal government is taking steps to achieve this, starting with the Port Harcourt refinery. Funding for the project will come from 3 sources: the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation's internally generated revenue, budgetary provisions, and from Afri-Exim Bank.
The Ministry of Petroleum Resources presented a memo on the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt refinery for the sum of $1.5 billion, and it was approved by Council today.
The Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning also presented a memo to Council on the reviewed National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2020 to 2043. It allows for the establishment of the National Council on Infrastructure under the chairmanship of the Vice President to provide policy direction and infrastructure-related materials.
There are about 7 asset classes that are contained in the master plan. This is in the areas of transportation, energy, ICT, agriculture, water and mining, social infrastructure, housing and regional development.
Council finally approved a memo from the Ministry of Health, who presented a memo on behalf of NCDC Public Health Laboratory Specialists and for the Center for Disease Control. It involves 6 contracts for the purchase of laboratory equipment to the tune of 3.70 billion naira to strengthen the work of the NCDC in various parts of the country.
It is for 6 contracts for laboratory equipment and to the total worth of 3,70,892,938 various equipment and supplies to strengthen the work of NCDC.
The equipment purchased will establish the NCDC in diagnostics preparedness, not only for COVID-19, but for any other disease outbreak of public interest in the future. Tai Amudu, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, as I said, you know, our effort to, our report backing it all, but if the Federal Executive Council, in their wisdom, brought their knowledge to bear and have approved this sum, surely it can't be for a loss. What's your thinking? It can't be for the purpose of a loss.
Sorry, look at it. From 2015, according to the auditor report from NNPC, from 2015 to 2019, this Port Harcourt refinery has reported a loss of 224 billion. Loss. Now, you want to repair a refinery that cannot generate money in 5 years. With 500, that I'm going to Naira equivalent with the exchange rate, we are now using the official exchange rate. It's going to cost us about 585 billion Naira. So when you look at that, a refinery that, according to the 2019 audited report of NNPC, made zero revenue.
That probably is why there's a lot of talk as soon as the news hits that
yes,
this is what we have approved.
Yeah, because when you're looking at that, you're looking at a government that is telling you that they want to repair the refinery and then hand it over to consultants. So you are using what we should say, it should be the bottom to top this, and are using at the top to come to the bottom, because I expected the government to be saying, look, we are going to give this refinery to a private company. They are going to spend the money and do a turnaround maintenance and generate profit and begin to pay government taxes and pay government a certain amount of money for the refinery. We are talking about it's going to take you 4 years.
Well, yeah, that is to say the 3 phases. They've divided it up into 3 phases. Into 3 phases.
Yes, if you want to build a refinery, definitely it's in phases. It cannot just come on one phase. So it will not take us, it didn't take Dangote 4 years to build Dangote refinery that we, the government, were looking forward to. Okay. So we're looking at wastes. Now look at where they want to generate the money from. Number 1, NNPC internally generated revenue. 2, budget allocation. 3, Afrex Bank. Those are the only lender there is Afrex Bank. The other ones, you're talking about budget allocation. Remember that this same Port Harcourt refinery was listed as part of the asset government is considering to sell to be able to fund the budget deficits. Now they will not be part of the deficits of the budget.
Mr. Yakub, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Mukhtar, good morning, sir.
Morning.
I want to have Mukhtar, I want to ask him a question. I was told that his Balasaka included Mukhtar that will be in that studio. Because the question is this: to build a new refinery, what is the cost? That is number 1. Number 2, Mukhtar just made us know that the refinery that generates is zero revenue. And then he wants to spend a lot of money to repair the same refinery. Does it make any sense? So this government, this has government, because this is a government that can pay for and has voted for. So if you're this government, I don't think the people within the government, the sectoral there, the people that reason in terms of economics, I don't think they are working. Because if they are working, they can put their heads together, and then their sense of responsibility will tell them that putting a lot of money to repair this same refinery that's been repaired since Obasanjo era up to this time, and then it does not give us anything. So something should tell them that they should let it go. So they should let it go and decide that they give it to private sector to manage it. Because if you cannot manage a refinery, why are you putting money to it? It's just like if you sold the NEPA and then you still borrow them money that time. Where is the money going to? So Mukhtar, what is take us to build a new refinery? And then the modular refinery, the government issued license to
Okay, Yakub. In fact, thank you very much. Your question is what we started with, and he had explained it that look, nobody really knows, but you know, he related it to the ongoing Dangote refinery that is being built. But
yeah, definitely, like I said, we will relate it to the one that we see in the country, because one thing you should know that the parameters are different. What it will cost you to build a refinery in Ghana and cost you to build a refinery in Europe is different from what it would cost you to build a refinery in Nigeria, because of one thing, the exchange rate volatility that we have. That's a major challenge. Then the bottlenecks in terms of production. You know, the communities and all those are issues that are internal. So you cannot be able to specifically fix that is the amount because it costs Ghana excess amount, it should cost Nigeria excess amount. The only way we can begin to say how much it costs to be, we will have a template. And the only template that we are looking for towards now is Dangote refinery.
Right now.
When that refinery comes into OBA, then we'll begin to know whether it's 1-point-something billion. Remember, we are talking about 1-point-something billion to turn around maintenance.
Not to build.
Not to build. And like he rightly pointed out, we're looking at this same government right from DPR have given people license to do what they call the smaller type of refineries, whereby you just generate from your store. So why are we going back?
Okay. Mazi Okorafo, thank you for holding on, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Muta, our financial analyst.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Mr. Muta, I think there is need for people to advise the federal government. All these boys, they go to Niger Delta to grab that they are running illegal refinery and the rest. This mode of society, is it not the high time for the federal government to go to all those schools and use this money and empower them and make it a large-scale production? It will help us and save costs. Reason, every day we don't come and recycling. Where are they going to get all these parts they are talking about? Most of those parts have rusted at least. To get a spanner to lose some of them is a problem. So federal government, please take this money, help those boys, at least let them start large-scale production refineries for us. It will help us. Because it is a very shameful thing that we in Nigeria, common fuel, we produce crude oil. We cannot even common kerosene. You cannot see kerosene.
Okay, Mazi, I've got to interrupt you now because our time is fast winding down. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You see, government is going to need to explain this a bit more. Maybe the minister needs to come out to those town halls or whatever is the proper organ because there are too many questions. There's so much that is not understood, and it is not felt that this is in any way, shape, or form a good deal.
Well, Nigerians should wait for more shock because the minister is saying this is just the first of the turnaround maintenance they will be going through. Because he said this is just the first. They will do the Port Harcourt home very soon. Maybe we'll see the Kaduna home very soon. Maybe we'll see. Oh, they will definitely want to do what they see the Warri refineries. That's what the minister said. So we will have to follow him. That means very soon we'll have a total turnaround maintenance of all our refineries. So we know how much that will go.
Okay, so we're gonna we just don't know enough about it. Apparently, between them, the Federal Executive Council, and that's what they're there for actually, they're supposed to pool all their resources together. And
if you pull up the resources together, I expected them to be telling us that this is the lending rate. How much they are going to lend us that money, how much is going to come up from government. You don't just tell us, oh, you are looking at NNPC, you are looking at budget allocation, you are looking at Afrex Bank, you've been talking to them, in short, you have already agreed. No.
So you are saying that you don't understand this decision?
I don't understand this decision because financially, it's like somebody said, it's like beating a dead horse. A dead horse, you are beating a dead horse. Come on, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Okay, you know, we're going to have to leave it there because there's so much about it. But I just wanted the first stab, and I suppose the biggest question was, how much does a new refinery cost? And you've addressed that. You've addressed that. Other people have also
No, the good thing about the project, let's not say everything is bad. The government is even saying the local content be that most of the contractors that will be involved in the project will be local contractors. So that could turn around and create more jobs.
Thank you very much. You know, as always, Mukhtar Mohammed. We've taken the first stab at it, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about it. There's going to be much more deep analysis, and I guess most people want to hear about it because, worryingly, you pointed out that this is just one of the four.
Of the four.
And government is going to want to maintain balance.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what the minister said.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, as always, Mukhtar Mohammed, for coming on, our financial analyst. Okay, so that's our program today. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.